TV7 Israel News is made possible thanks to your generous donations. Shalom and good evening. This is TV7 Israel News, broadcast to you from Jerusalem. And in today's top stories, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu asserts Israel's determination to return its displaced northern residents back to their homes safely. Lebanon's health minister confirms that in a second wave of walkie-talkie attacks this time, over 600 Hezbollah operatives sustained wounds while another 25 were killed. The UN General Assembly passes an unbinding resolution calling for an arms embargo on Israel, among others. Jerusalem is moving the center of its military gravity from the Gaza Strip to the northern arena, pledging Israel's roughly 90,000 displaced residents that it would ensure their return to their communities safely.
I already said we will return our northern residents back to their homes safely, and as such, we will do explicitly.
Israeli Defense Minister Yoav Gallant, during a visit at the Ramat David Air Base, stressed for his part that while redirecting the defense establishment's attention northward, it does not mean that Jerusalem has forgotten its missions in the Gaza Strip.
The center of gravity is moving northward. The meaning entails the allocation of forces, resources, and energy for the northern arena. We have not forgotten the hostages, and we have not forgotten our missions in the south. We are committed to our duties, and we are carrying them out simultaneously. The northern operation is carried out by all of the defense organizations, and our task is both simple and clear, ensuring the safe return of Israel's northern residents to their homes.
Jerusalem's top defense official went on to expand on the defense establishment's achievements vis-à-vis the Iranian proxy Hezbollah and its terror affiliates in Lebanon, to include the IDF, ISA, Mossad, and other organizations.
If we look at the current picture, the IDF has made excellent achievements, together with the ISA and the Mossad, alongside all of the other organizations and frameworks, and the results of their work are impressive. We know how important it is at this time to carry out our activities in close cooperation. This happens, first and foremost, by all the players in the IDF, together with the other organizations, and also in the top commanding staff echelons. The establishment is fully coordinated and united in our determination to achieve our goals. The Prime Minister, the IDF Chief of the General Staff, ISA Director, Mossad Director, and Minister of Defense. Everything that they represent, everything is dedicated to a single goal, the return of the residents.
The Israeli Defense Minister continued by stressing that Hezbollah is not Hamas and that the defense establishment is adapting itself to the next stage in the almost year-long war, which Hamas launched on October 7th and Hezbollah launched the next day on October 8th of 2023.
I assess that we are at the start of a new phase in this war, and we must adapt ourselves. This is true for everyone, certainly for those who are in the air or controlling what happens in the air, because the opposition here is stronger. It isn't Hamas. This is something else, and we need to prepare for this accordingly and take it into account. We must remain consistent over time. This war requires great courage, determination, and perseverance. Thank you for everything you do. We are going to complete our missions on all fronts. You have the duty, but also the privilege to take a part in this effort.
Meanwhile, at the IDF Northern Command, Chief of General Staff Lieutenant General Herzi Halevi, following a situation assessment, stressed the IDF's determination to create the necessary security conditions that would allow for the residents of northern Israel to return to their homes.
We are very determined to create the security conditions that will return the residents to their homes, to the communities, with a high level of security, and we are ready to do all that is required to bring about these things.
As the escalation ladder is seemingly on an upward trajectory, General Halevi stressed that Israel has many capabilities that have yet to be introduced into the battlefield, and that each and every escalation phase will exact from Hezbollah a higher price.
We still have many capabilities that we have not yet activated. We saw some of these things here, and it seems to me that the readiness is good, and we are preparing these plans going forward. The rule is that every time we work on a certain stage, the next 2 stages are already ready to advance. At each stage, the price for Hezbollah must be higher.
It is important to know that Israel has yet to claim responsibility for the so-called pager attack, which was historic in scale, that included thousands of Hezbollah terror operatives either maimed or killed. Moreover, while Hezbollah was burying its dead operatives yesterday, a second wide-scale attack erupted suddenly throughout Lebanon when Hezbollah's handheld walkie-talkies exploded simultaneously, reportedly wounding 600 Hezbollah terror operatives and eliminating another 25 of them.
Regarding the issue of martyrs, the last number we had from the Ministry of Health concerning the martyrs who fell in yesterday's attacks was 25. As of now, we have 25 martyrs. The number we issued last night was 20, and now it has risen to 25. As for the wounded who were injured yesterday, we have 608 wounded. This was the total number.
Despite a lack of proof of Israeli responsibility, Lebanon's Iranian proxy Hezbollah launched separate barrages of rockets and unmanned aerial vehicles, or UAVs, toward Israeli communities in northern Israel, with the IDF reporting that a UAV fell adjacent to a community, Beit Hillel, while another fell adjacent to the community of Yara. And while no injuries were reported, the fragments of the UAVs caused brush fire that was subsequently extinguished by Israel's fire and rescue services. In parallel, early this morning, at least 7 Israelis regrettably sustained injuries when Hezbollah launched an anti-tank missile toward a civilian community along the border. The wounded were then evacuated to hospitals in both the town of Nahariya and the city of Haifa. Meanwhile, in Washington, U.S. National Security Coordinator for Strategic Communications, retired Rear Admiral John Kirby, stressed the Biden administration's ongoing efforts to end the war and frustrating any prospects of the Hezbollah-instigated war versus Israel from escalating further.
We want to see the war end. And everything we've been doing since the beginning has been designed to prevent the conflict from escalating. We still believe, for instance, that there is a diplomatic path forward, that particularly up near Lebanon. And we still believe that while it is increasingly difficult, and we are certainly no closer to finality, that we believe a ceasefire deal and a negotiation to get the hostages out is still the best outcome, and we're going to keep pursuing that.
Admiral Kirby further noted that it was too early to know whether the devastating attacks against Hezbollah's mid to senior ranks and communication systems would have any effect on progress to achieve a ceasefire deal for the Gaza Strip.
I think it's too soon to know if what happened over the last couple of days is going to have any effect on where we are with a ceasefire deal. Sadly, we aren't any closer to that now than we were even a week ago. So it's difficult to see any immediate impact of these incidents.
Admiral Kirby went on to stress that the Biden administration remains convinced that the way to solve the war, which included over 11 months of approximately 7,000 projectiles fired by Hezbollah towards Israel, does not require another military operation by the IDF.
We still don't want to see an escalation of any kind. We don't believe that the way to solve where we're at in this crisis is by additional military operations at all.
Turning to Israel, where it has been cleared for publication that an Israeli businessman was arrested earlier this year after the Islamic Republic of Iran recruited him for the purpose of promoting the assassinations of Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, former Premier Naftali Bennett, Defense Minister Yoav Gallant, and IDF Chief of General Staff Lieutenant General Herzi Halevi.
An incident that sets a new bar of severity and audacity that we have not yet known. We are talking about an Israeli who, during a war, at the state of Israel's toughest time, enters Iran, holds a meeting with Iranian intelligence agents who offer him to assassinate senior figures in the state of Israel, no less. The Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, former Prime Minister Naftali Bennett, the head of Shin Bet and other high-ranking officials. All for large amounts of money. A quick and determined act by Shin Bet investigators together with police units Yabal and Lahav 433 investigators' practicality prevented the progress and carrying out of the plan, and the escalation of an incident that could have shocked the whole country.
Turning to the United Nations in New York, where the General Assembly passed an unbinding resolution that calls upon Israel to withdraw its forces from what the world body defines as occupied Palestinian territory within 12 months, alongside calls on the states to take steps towards seizing the provision or transfer of arms, munitions, and related activities where there are reasonable grounds to suspect that they may be used in occupied Palestinian territory, as the resolution words it. The Palestinian resolution was adopted by a majority of 124 in favor, to include Iran, Qatar, Finland, France, New Zealand, Norway, and Estonia, among others, 43 abstentions to include Sweden, Germany, Ukraine, Italy, the Netherlands, Australia, Britain, and Austria, among others, while 14 voted against, to include Fiji, Argentina, Hungary, Papua New Guinea, the Czech Republic, and Paraguay, alongside 7 additional nations.
This resolution perfectly represents the priorities of the Palestinian Authority. It slanders Israel, ignores our right to defend our people, and seeks to isolate us. The PA has teamed up with the radicals in the region, posing a grave threat not just to Israel, but to the entire Middle East.
Thank you for watching TV7 Israel News. I would like to encourage you, pray for the peace of Jerusalem and salvation of Israel. Separately, if you're blessed by our productions, which are exclusively donation-based, please consider prescribing a donation. You can do so via our website at www.tv7israelnews.com. I'm Jonathan Hessen, wishing you an Erev Mevorach, and God willing, we will see you during our next update. Until then, Shalom from Jerusalem.